The Haunting of Hill House is a classic horror novel written by Shirley Jackson, first published in 1959. It is a story of psychological horror, exploring themes of isolation, fear, and the blurred lines between reality and the supernatural. The novel has had a profound influence on the horror genre and has been adapted into various films and TV series, including the popular Netflix series of the same name. Summary: the novel revolves around Hill House, a mansion with a dark and eerie history. Dr. John Montague, a paranormal investigator, rents the house with the intention of conducting a scientific study of supernatural phenomena. To assist him, he invites three individuals who have had experiences with the paranormal: Eleanor Vance, Theodora, and Luke Sanderson, the young heir to Hill House. Eleanor, a lonely and introverted woman, becomes the central character of the story. She is invited to the house after having spent most of her adult life caring for her demanding, ailing mother. Eleanor's arrival at Hill House marks the beginning of a series of unsettling and increasingly terrifying events. As the group stays at Hill House, they experience strange occurrences, eerie sounds, and mysterious happenings. It becomes clear that Hill House has a malevolent and sinister presence. The characters' psyches are affected, and their sanity begins to unravel as they confront their deepest fears and insecurities. Eleanor, in particular, forms a close but complicated bond with Theodora, which takes on both a platonic and potentially romantic undertone. The house seems to prey on Eleanor's fragile mental state, and her growing obsession with Hill House intensifies the supernatural occurrences. As the story progresses, the line between reality and the supernatural blurs, and the boundaries of the characters' minds and the physical world become increasingly unstable. The novel builds to a climax of intense psychological horror, leaving readers to question whether the malevolence lies in the house itself or within the minds of its inhabitants. Key themes: isolation and loneliness. The characters in the novel are all isolated in some way, and their isolation intensifies the horror they experience. Eleanor, in particular, is lonely and isolated from the world, making her vulnerable to the house's influence. Fear and paranoia. The novel delves deeply into the theme of fear, both as a result of the supernatural phenomena and as a product of the character's own insecurities and psychological trauma. The power of the mind. The Haunting of Hill House explores the fragility of the human mind and how fear and paranoia can shape one's perception of reality. The unseen and unexplained. The novel plays with the idea that true horror lies in the unknown and the unexplained, as the supernatural phenomena in Hill House are never fully revealed or understood. Psychological horror. The novel is a masterpiece of psychological horror, using the characters' psychological states and the ambiguity of the supernatural to create a chilling and unsettling atmosphere. Ambiguity. Shirley Jackson leaves much of the horror in the novel ambiguous, allowing readers to interpret the events in different ways and leaving room for uncertainty. Family dynamics. The novel explores family dynamics, particularly through the lens of the Crane family, who lived in Hill House prior to the events of the story. The dysfunction within the family and the tragedy that occurred in the house are integral to the haunting. Gothic tradition. The Haunting of Hill House is deeply rooted in the Gothic tradition of literature, with its dark, foreboding mansion, enigmatic characters, and mysterious events. Subversion of gender roles. The novel subverts traditional gender roles, particularly in its portrayal of Eleanor and Theodora, who both defy societal expectations in their interactions and relationships. Unreliable narration. The novel plays with the concept of unreliable narration, leaving readers uncertain about the true nature of the events at Hill House and the mental states of the characters. The power of place. Hill House itself is a central character in the story, and the theme of the house's malevolence and its ability to influence the minds of its inhabitants is a key element of the narrative. Psychological vulnerability. the character's psychological vulnerabilities are exploited by the supernatural phenomena, emphasizing the theme of how one's mental state can be manipulated. The Haunting of Hill House is a deeply atmospheric and psychologically chilling novel that continues to haunt readers with its exploration of isolation, fear, and the blurred boundaries between the real and the supernatural. It is a masterpiece of horror fiction that has left an indelible mark on the genre.